All right, let's try this again. That last video wasn't the best. I tend to get impatient and rush, which is silly because I'm recording it, and so I can make it last, make 2 days look like half an hour or an hour. So I will try to not rush things. If I'm speaking a little weird, I'm trying to concentrate more on speaking clearly and not rambling so much. In this video, we're going to get the front brakes done. That includes rotors, wheel bearings, calipers, pads, and the soft brake line.
tltgarageusa, tltgarageusa. tltgarageusa, tltgarageusa, USA, USA.
All right, so as I was saying, I've got new seals for it, new wheel bearings, new rotor, new everything. So brakes will be brand new. Now, having said all that, there is a little wedge look at thing. It's got like this little spring in it that goes this way, slides in here. Now there's supposed to be a locking bolt, which it's pretty big. It goes in quite a ways. It's supposed to be in here. I went to loosen the one on the other side and it snapped right off. It looks like it's got red Loctite on it, so maybe it has to be heated before you take it out, which might be a bit excessive, but it is what it is. Well, the one on the other side, I broke off. The one on this side, it's already broke off. So what I'm gonna have to do is probably drill it out and probably not use this bolt. I'll probably have to use a bigger bolt, or I'll have to drill out a hole, because there's two, like I said, you can see there's two little notches, and all it's gonna do is keep this thing from sliding out. But when it's wedged in there, it ain't coming out. But anyhow, so let's see if we can get this apart. So let's look. I want to see if I can get, I'm not good at these caps. They're kind of weird. You just kind of beat on them and they come off. There we go. Look at that. Right off. So this is the little, I'm kind of worried. These bearings I got, they fit the caliper. At least they fit the backside bearing fit. I think front side bearings, a little greasy. Oh, whoop, flying. So yeah, this is the front bearing, and it's a little tiny guy. I don't know if that, yeah, maybe it'll fit over that. Let's see. I'm gonna have to get some paper towels and some needle nose. So I'll be right back. All right, so try to keep my legs not underneath all this assembly. I have it on a jack, and there's a jack stand under the I-beam. That's the one thing about the Ford for suspensions, is there that I-beam suspension. It's hard to, I probably needed to jack it up as far out as I could and then put the jack stand under the very edge of the I-beam, because I don't like having the middle, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just something. Anyhow. Yeah, going. Okay, I'm jumping ahead a little bit because I want to kind of make sure that this bearing is going to fit before I completely start disassembling everything. Because if it's not, then I don't know what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to try to send stuff back or order new stuff and assume I can use these for some other project some other day. They weren't super expensive, really. I think it was about $90 for the set, off of, not sure where I got those. Auto Geek, maybe. So they're just a little cotter pin. Boom. Let's set this down over here where I won't lose it, hopefully. Put this paper towel out. And this stuff isn't super complicated, but I generally set it down in some kind of order. I took it off, but this is pretty basic. Okay, I'm gonna need, I don't think, let me see, where's that? The impact's behind me. Can't get to it, it's exactly behind me. Let's see if this just happens to be the same size. Yeah, it's way big. All right, well, I gotta go get another tool. Probably just get some channel locks. I mean, you can get a socket in there, but here, let's, where's that little bearing? So here's the little bearing. It looks like that'll fit over that spindle, so that's a very good sign. All right, so that's not even close. Let's see. Come on, there we go. Yeah, it's not very tight. It's not very tight. You don't want to have you can't have it crammed down because then you'll damage your wheel bearings. And we'll get to how to tighten it. I'm far from an expert, but I have done a few wheel bearings on later model rigs, but not for quite a while. Everything modern nowadays, you just unbolt the whole hub assembly or the whole bearing assembly and it's all sealed, and you just throw one away and bolt one in. It's kind of nice. But anyways, got that. Okay, so I don't need to get all this apart just yet. I got to get the caliper off. So let's work on that. I just wanted to see if that bearing was going to fit because I wasn't quite sure. Like I said, got this little guy here, and I think you just thump it out. And I don't know if I can go. Where's the hammer? Here's the hammer. Let's see. I don't know if it'll go out the back. Looks like it might make it out the back. It's gonna be a little punch or something I can hit. Wife always gives me a hard time about all my tools I have, but you can never have too many tools. It's like it's just barely fitting over that steering rack nut. There we go. So yeah, so that's the exact same thing that I showed you. It looks like a little baby leaf spring. So it's spring loaded, keeps it in there. So the caliper should just come right off. Now it drops down. Let's see if we gotta give it a little thump, a little help. I don't know, maybe it has to. The whole, I think the problem with me taking this thing apart a little early is the whole hub's coming out, so it's probably going to bind a little bit. So let's just put this guy back on. There we go. So that'll keep that on. Put this back up here. That's where it's not blinding you guys, but it actually helps me. Okay, so let's go back to thumping this guy. You see, it looks like it's hitting, so my guess is that the bottom has to come out. Yeah, it's coming. I'm not sure why it's so tight. Oh, probably because of how grooved the rotor is, the pads are going to be grooved so they're just like locked in. So, there we go. Just about pinched myself. Okay, now I've got it up enough I can thump it. There we go. All right. So this caliper, oh my gosh. The reason they're so bad is there's, I don't know if you guys can see, I mean, there's, I don't think you could get any less pad and still say there's pad on there, but technically I think that is pad material, but that is the thinnest I've ever seen it without it being into rivets. So, alrighty. So this goes here. I just got to remember how this goes together. Worst case scenario, I can look at the other side. So let's see. Oh, see the back one. The back one has a lot of pad. It wasn't sliding. I'm not sure. There's no pins, so I guess you just have to put a little grease in here, a little grease in here, and that hopefully that'll let it slide. I should have a wire brush around here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. So clean that surface, and that surface. Okay, now the hard part is getting that brake line off. You guys can see it from there. You guys can kind of see it. There's a little clip here that locks the line into that. I don't care about this guy. Just let it hang. Have what's called a flaring wrench or a tubing wrench. I call them a tubing wrench because they see how they go farther around. Because if you just use a regular wrench, well, one, you can't put a box on that, right? Because it's got a line coming off of it. And if you put an open end wrench, then you're not getting as much surface contact. So with this, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're getting 4 sides instead of 2 sides. However, that is rusted on, so you can't put it on this way, but you can slip it over the line and down. That's not the right size, so it is 3/8 line. So you slip it on. You can hear my dog barking out there. At least I thought it was 3/8. Let me get a better angle. I'm sitting here kind of hunched over here. There we go. Get my head inside here. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now it's on. Now the problem is it's essentially probably rusted to the soft line. So you can kind of do is got to kind of put some tension on it. If I can get a good way to smack it. I'm not hitting the wrench. I'm trying to do. Just trying to vibrate and shock it. Problem is I do not want to damage this line because that's the hard line of the truck. If I damage that, then I got to replace that whole hard line, and I really would like to avoid that. I put some, never find anything around here. Put some knocker loose stuff on it. I might have to put some heat on it. Maybe I can just work on this while that soaks. All right, well, let's do that. Let's just work on this while that soaks. It's got really good bearing, so it's sad that the rotor is so destroyed. If I had a brake lathe, I could probably just put some new pads and turn these discs and it'd be good and just repack the bearings. But this being a farm truck, I doubt it had a lot of time on the road. Although it says 6,000 on the odometer, so it's probably 106,000 miles on this truck. So It's been on the road some. Maybe it didn't start life out as a farm truck. There's a little washer in here, which you can just kind of pull it off. And there's your bearing. Yep, that's the exact same size bearing. So we're definitely in luck. And this is keyed. It's just a washer, not like it's a big deal, but you can't really see, but it's got a flat spot, so it can only go on one way. I keep looking at myself in the camera instead of looking at the lens. Sorry. Eventually I'll get there. Okay, so we'll pull this off. That guy over there. Let's grab a paper towel. Look at this spindle, see how it looks. It looks really good, in my opinion. There's no bluing from getting too hot. Maybe a little bit of wear on it, but I really don't feel an edge. Because the bearing rides on the race, but this part seats on the spindle. If it's spinning, if it's not, this part it's supposed to be stationary, right? But as it gets used, it can heat up and it can heat the spindle up, or if this gets really bad, it can kind of turn on this also, and that's you damage these spindles. I had a little Ranger pickup that I had to tighten my wheel bearings like every 4 or 5 months because the spindle was kind of worn out because it had 33s on it, so it was a little hard on its wheel bearings. You know that, guys, if you're putting monster wheels and tires on your trucks, I mean, you got a big 1 ton, big 3/4 ton, it could probably take it to some degree, but you're putting those 14-inch rims, and you know you're going to be pushing your wheel bearings to a little bit of excess. So, alrighty. So we got that. Let's clean this surface back here where the seal sits. All right, got that clean. Okay, next step is to get the, I'm just procrastinating on that brake line. We got the brand new disc here. It's gonna be beautiful, beautiful. Front brakes be worth more than the whole truck, right? Okay, so here's the brand new disc. Set that down. Got the brand new wheel bearing. Let's make sure this fits too. This fits perfectly. I know it already fits in here, so I need my grease. So I've got some good quality red bearing grease. And hopefully I can get it all out of here for everything. So just grab a big old blob of it. Where did I do with the bearing? Where did I put the bearing? Oh, it's in the thing here. You want to just kind of force it down in it. So you'll see it's going down in it. And it's coming out the rollers there. You can put it in your palm, you know, go like that and you shove it in, or you can just use your fingertips and shove it in and do it from the other side. Just get it really, I tend to probably over grease with those. I suppose as long as you're not blowing a seal out, you're not over greasing. And I like to try to make it spin. Just getting my bearing race, putting some grease on there. Really trying to force the grease inside the bearing. Once this gets heated up, it gets a lot thinner, so it should be just fine. Just want to make sure you just force it in there. a messy job, but somebody's got to do it, right? And I like to put some grease on here too, which I don't know if it technically really need. You got enough on this guy, but I don't see the issue with putting a little grease on that. You're gonna want to grease this just a teeny bit so that seal has a nice surface. You don't want that seal to go on a dry surface. That one just needs to be a real thin layer of grease, not heavy layer of grease. Okay, I think I got that pretty dang good. Okay. Drop it down into the rotor. What's up, bud? Cat just grabbed my arm. Okay, now the fun is the seal. Which I might have to go get a piece of wood or something to pop the seal on like that. Trying to get some of this. Sometimes it's just easier to wear like 6 pairs of gloves doing this. Just setting that down in there. And like I said, I want to be able to I might get a piece of wood so I can hit it square on this side and on this side, because it's not going to want to, if you just tap, sometimes you get away with just kind of tap, 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 tap around and it'll work. But most of the time it wants to just pop out. Yeah, it's just wanting to pop out. So I could take the hammer and do it this way so I can hit. Oh, I thought it just popped in. I was like, sweet. Not the best at driving seals in. If you have a really, really huge socket, which I do, I can use a socket. So let's go get a big socket. Okay, let's see if I can drop you down here. There you go. So, got my bearing in there. I got my seal here. And then I got a big ass socket. This is the kind of stuff you have when your dad's a industrial millwright. And I put a piece of wood on it. And if I can hit it square enough, it should drive it down. Yeah, it's going in, but it went in at an angle. See if I can. There we go. She's in. Nice. Nice. You guys saw that, right? Okay. Kick you back up here. What I'm going to do too is I'm going to put a little bit more grease in here, just because, like I said, I like to overkill a little bit of grease without. I mean, I don't think I'm being too excessive. The bearing feels good. I just want to make sure I have enough grease in there, because I am far from an expert on grease volume. You want enough, right? All right, so I got that on there. Let's wipe off this back side. Like I said, I'm stalling, taking that brake line off, letting that, whoops, I can. Tap it a little bit. Just kind of throw some vibrations in there so that'll maybe come off. All right, let's put this guy on here. Definitely gonna have to clean it off. Beautiful. It's on. All right, now we got the little bearing. And the beauty of these, I was super excited when I got these rotors, these discs, is they had the races already in them, so I didn't have to press them in, which I guess you guys didn't get to watch me beat on them and try to get the races in, but Hopefully I can edit this so it's entertaining and not too long. All right, we'll call that pretty darn good. I'm far from professional. So if this is something that you don't feel comfortable doing, don't hesitate to have it done by a professional, not based off my video. There we go. This tight little sucker didn't want to go on. All right, so now put the washer, then we put the nut, and I'm going to clean my hands off here. Like I said, I might go get another pair of gloves. But then I got to get up. I don't want to get up. Just want to get her done. This actually's gone really easy. I'm just stressed about that line because everything else is brand new, and I have a brand new brake line. I have a brand new caliper that you're going to see here in a second. I still have to figure out what I'm going to do about this locking bolt. It's right here. You guys can see how there's a hole there. See that hole right there? There's supposed to be a bolt in there. Well, there is a bolt in there, but it's not supposed to be, there's supposed to be a head on it, right? I'm either going to have to drill it out and retap it, or if I get real lucky, I could drill it out and then the other bolt will fit, but I highly doubt it. So let's finish up getting this guy on, and then we can maybe work on that. Grease all over everything. So anyhow, all right. There it goes. Threads are a little gnarled up a little bit. My mic's still on, I hope. Okay, so what you want to do is kind of tighten it down tight, so it still wants to turn. That actually feels really good. But I think what I'll do is I'm gonna tighten it, and then I'm gonna back it off. And that's pretty darn good. Let me see where the hole is. There's the hole. So it has this little cover that goes over, if I can get it to focus on it, that goes over the nut, and then it has all these little slots. So you can, a lot of options for lining up the cotter pin. It's the fun of this, sometimes you have to tighten. I think that's it right there. That's it right there. All right. Cotter pin installed. Sweet. Now with the dust cap, the cotter pin, normally you can bend them up, but with the dust cap, it ain't going nowhere. Let's see if this old nasty crusty dust cap fits on this brand new. Get my little wedge here. Right. Like brand new, because it is. All right. I might put a pair of vice grips on that brake line, because the problem is you put so much torque, even with the tubing wrench, it wants to strip it out, wants to round it out. If you put a vice grip on it, it'll hold and it'll bite. But we'll put a little bit of, we'll give it a little bit of twisting right here and see how it reacts. See if I can see it a little better. I'll get you guys in here so you can. Hopefully that's not what we want to do. Is we want to make sure, one, that the line isn't turning, because that's some of the problem too, is the line will rust to the nut because the line goes through the nut, right? And then we want to make sure that the nut is turning when I'm turning the wrench. Because if it's not, then I'm just rounding it out. And this is the exact fit.
So let's give it a little bit of elbow grunt here. Yeah, and see, it's just the line, the whole brake line is moving. Okay, so I'm gonna go get a pair of channel locks and grab here. And not channel locks, vice grip. All right, I'm back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab, see if we can grab this brake line. Too close, let's back off a little bit so you can actually see what's going on. Okay, I got my channel locks, my vice grips. So hopefully I can hold that and I can. Yeah, it's not. The nut isn't moving. So let's get this guy off. I can, yeah, let's get this guy off of here. We're gonna double vise as soon as I can get it off. And if that thing's a little chewed up, it's fine, as long as its threads are still good and it still seals. There it comes. There it comes, okay. Yeah, so I'm just rounding that. So let's get this guy on here again. Okay, now go get another pair of vice grips. Like I said, double vise. Of course, this one I got is, they're a little corroded. I think they've been sitting outside for a while. You want it to grab. The problem is you probably don't. You got to be careful because if you crush the nut, then you're pinching the line too, so it's going to defeat the purpose. Get it as low as possible. Let's try that. Okay, so let me see if I can get you guys a little bit better positioned, or get you positioned differently so I can see what I'm doing in here as much as you can see what I'm doing. All right, I'm up inside. So what I have to try to do is make sure that if the nut is moving, the line isn't. And it's just slipping. My next step is to put some heat on it and then hit it with the penetrating oil. I'm just making sure I'm going the right way. Once in a while I do it. I think it's just slipping. Yeah, just chewing it up. Oh, shnikes. That's why brake lines and brakes are such a not scary, but brake lines and exhaust bolts. All right, well, I got a phone call, and so I paused it so you didn't hear me talking on the phone, but I was still torquing on it, and it came loose. So, whoop, it just popped loose. I just kind of kept putting light pressure on it. Like I said, it's a little chewed up, but it should be more than functional. And now I can probably just use a regular, try to go back to the, if it'll get on that, not too chewed up. Got a little baby channel locks. This might work. All right, so I got this off. The next step will be, there's a little clip right here. See if you can see what I'm looking at. Little clip right here that I have to pull out, and then this whole brake line will come off. Derek would be so proud of me. This is like 3 vice grips in one job. And there we go. We're loose. Okay, so let's see if I can get this guy in here. And you just pry against the brake line. So I got my hand in the way so you can't really see what I'm doing. But see, I just stick this in here like that. And you just pry on it and it'll pull it out. Right? It just pulls it out. Easy. What you doing, cat? Oh, the cat's up on the hood. So you just kind of go back and forth and it should work it out. And then there should be a gap eventually, yeah. If I can get it out of here, I'll show you guys what it looks like. Let's just see if I can turn it. I can't turn it. There we go. Come on. All right, so it's just this little clip. All right. I'll show you this caliper once I'm all done to show you why I replaced it. All right, so now I've got to figure out, I've got two different brake lines. One is part number 2201178 and one's 79. I'm assuming it'll be obvious which one's which for which side, but let's take a look at them. Looks like there's an angle on them, so that's probably what it is. Let's look at the old caliper. So the old caliper, it's going in like this. And then if I take this is theoretically going to be here. This is going to be here. Oh, this must only go in. There we go. I was like, oh, it doesn't go in. Yeah, there we go. So that's going to go in there. I really don't. Come on. It's got a flat spot on it, so it fits in there. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. See, it's got like a flat spot, so it's like kind of like it's keyed in. So let's take the other one and see if it seems like they both would work, but maybe one will just seem a little bit better than the other. The only real difference is where the hole is in the block. See, it's kind of set, it's offset, one of them's offset, so let's see. So this one looks like this line. So this is going to be up in here like this, and this will be on the caliper. These lines seem a little longer than the factory ones, which is probably a good thing. So let's find that clip. What did I do with that clip? Because it looks like it doesn't come with a new one. Just lost it. I had it and then I lost it. It's gone. Never gonna see it. No, I'll see it. It's here somewhere. I literally just took it out. There it is. This guy here. So let's see if we can clean this guy up a bit. Just a little wire brush. And that'll be perfect. Let's see if this needs to be a certain way. I think like that's going to be good. Let's get the El Hamo. This hem is a little excessive, but and there it goes. Tang twang. It's hard to hold the thing on here and not have your thumb. There we go. There we go. Knew I could do it. Okay, put the brake line on here. Go back to the old vice grips. I just need a pair of pliers, but I'm being lazy not going around the other side of the truck, which I'll have to go over there in a minute anyways, probably. kind of use the wrench. Don't ever get old and let your eyes go. Bifocals suck. All right, that should be well seated. We won't know until we go to bleed the brakes. Here is the new caliper. Nice pretty guy here. It's got what's called a banjo bolt in it and all that. I don't know why they call it a banjo bolt, but the fluid runs through the bolts. You can kind of see the hole there. Obviously it's not going to focus on it. And then there's, see if I can, come on, focus. So there's the hole. And there's a hole. So the fluid just goes through the bolt, in and out the bolt. We can put that on after we get this guy on. So I need the pads. Yeah, I'm gonna change my gloves so I don't get brake fluid on those pads. I got brake fluid dripping out the new line, so that's a good thing, right? All right, and it's not a bad idea when you do brakes, when you do bearings, I should say, that after a couple hundred miles you go back and you kind of recheck them because they'll kind of seat in. Okay, so okay, pads. Alrighty then. Okay, so I guess I'll use these. Use a little bit of grease for the back side of them. So let's see, I remember these. This one went on the outside, like here, right? And this one goes on the inside, like here. Somehow, let's see if we can get that cleaned out. That's a little crumb there. All right, let's see. Let's try it now. How about now, right? And what they say, how about now? They're not talking about putting brake pads in. There we go. Boom. Right in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one in the caliper. Yeah, this one needs to go into the caliper. And then this, they're different sides, right? So you want the bleeder up. You don't want the bleeder on the bottom because then you can't get the air out of it. So, yeah. Now that I see how the brake line fits on it, I don't know if I put the right one on or not, but so I should just be able to tip this in. All right, right there. So that is on. Let's see how well this is going to bolt onto here. Trying to look at how this thing, in reference to the old one, fits on here. So I need to go up and over. So this probably needs to turn in that. It's the right line, that's for sure. It's definitely the right one. So now I need to do is, you gotta have a washer. There's a little, I don't know if you guys can see it from way over there. There's a little brass washer. It's on both sides of this banjo bolt. It's your gasket. How you hold your, this thing should stop like a dream. Power disc brakes. That's awesome. All right, I'm gonna go get the correct wrench for that because it's brand new. I don't want to chew it up. And I think that's okay. To look at the other side, see if it goes straight up like that. It does. Okay. So this is 9/16. You don't have a whole lot of room back here, so it's kind of fun trying to get this in. But generally you can just spin the wrench. So now you turn it, and then you can flip it around. It gives you another little bite, and you turn it. If you're in tight quarters, that's just I don't know if that's a tech tip. If probably 99% of the people watching this already know that. All right, I don't want to be too crazy with it, but I want to make sure it's actually sealed. So let me see if I can get a rag on it. Make sure it's no longer dripping. We'll wipe the floor. I guess that doesn't really work very good. That kind of make a clean spot on my floor. Okay, let's just do this. I'm going to put a block of wood under it as an identifier that it's dripping. Okay. Next part is this little jobber. So this needs to go in. So I can get some better lighting here. You guys can see what I'm doing. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, I see this needs to come up quite a bit. There we go. Now we got a little bit of room in there. Like I said, I've never done these before, so that's a whole new experience. The other side should go just a wee bit smoother. I won't bore you with that. You just watch the one side, and then I'll let you know when I'm done with the other side. Let me see if you can start it, or if I'm going to have to. It looks like it's about where it needs to be. Let me get a little bit different angle here. Get that guy out of the way. Sorry, I'm probably right in your guys' way. There we go, maybe. Like I said, I've never done this before. Learning as we go, man. Learning as we go. That guy up in there. There we go. Got to get just enough room where I've got enough space on the back, enough space on the front. Let me take I'm gonna take the spring out. See if this looks like this would be. It seems like that would work. All right, well, I'll get back to you guys when I've got it in, and I'll tell you if I did any trick. All right, I finally got it. I was just being mostly knucklehead, some it's just the technique. You got to hold it just right. But anyhow, the one, I thought the little spring thing went underneath it. But the more I looked at it, the way the mounting surface is, or the bottom of the main bracket is, it fits perfectly in that. So I'm like, that doesn't really make sense. And then there's I don't know if you can see that shoulder there, right? Well, there's a lip on the caliper, and I thought it just went down that shoulder, so that made sense to me. But now looking at it, the caliper is rounded, right? And that's a perfect straight edge. So what you got to do is the little spring guy goes on top, which you guys probably already knew. You're probably going, come on, man. Of course, you may not be able to see I was doing it wrong, but anyhow. So I finally, laying down on my back, leaning it up, got it tapped in there, and it went right in. I don't know if I can. Yeah, I gouged the caliper a little bit, but not enough that it's going to bother it. But I'll see if I can get you in here so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but we'll give it a try. So you can see, can you see? Yeah, you can see right there. See, it goes underneath it and on it.
And you can see right here is that little spring. So yeah, it just goes right underneath it. Try to get it so it's not so bright. There you go. But anyhow, everything looks like it's not leaking. Like I said, this is the next day. Everything looks like it's not leaking. It's been sitting out here. I had this piece of wood underneath it just for something to catch the drip, and it's dry. So I know that at least this fitting isn't leaking. Now there's not a lot of pressure on it, so it's sealing well enough sitting here static. Take that for what it is. There we go. Trying to think of how to say it. Anyhow, this side, brake-wise, is mostly done. The only problem is now I need to try to see if I can get the locking screws. There's a bolt that goes in right here that keeps that piece from sliding back and forth. And this little notch, that little notch right there, I keep looking up because I have bifocals, sorry. That little notch on both sides, I broke off the one on the other side. Like I said earlier, it looks like it's got red Loctite on it. It needed to be heated up, I guess. I don't know why. I guess if they figure it's brakes, it's important. But this side hasn't had one in it for years because you can tell it's all rusted out. So we're going to attempt to replace it. I might end up having to drill it out larger and then tapping it and just putting a bigger bolt in because it just needs something in there to keep that thing from sliding. Got a pretty dull center punch, which I might take over and see if I can ground a little better point on that. If it'll even fit down in that hole. Looks like it will. Probably need to tap this guy in just a teeny bit more. There we go. Easy tap. Perfect. The good and the bad thing, that thing moved pretty easy, but that's bad because in the sense I don't have that locking bolt anymore. But it's good because that means that the caliper will slide properly. So I have to try to center punch on a broken bolt that's not flat and perfect. So that's not really going to work great, but we got no other option. Let's see if I got anything in there. Yeah, it's not too bad, but so what I'm going to try is I have this Christmas tree bit. That's what they call them. I'm going to try to use it to maybe start a pilot hole. I really need to do is get some. I haven't had luck with breaking bolts loose with easy outs, or where do they do with that? There we go. I'm going to get behind here and see if I can spray where that bolt is. I don't think I can get back there. I should have done this while I had the caliper off, but because you could just barely see the back of the broken bolt. Hopefully that doesn't get into the brake shoes. Let's see if it does. I can get stuff everywhere here. I tend to spread all my tools all over the place. Yeah, that should be okay. Let me just stop babbling here, and I'm just procrastinating because I don't want to. Oh, I did bring a drill over. I was like, did I bring a drill over? Procrastinate because I don't want to attempt it. Stalling. All right. Let's see if. Whoop, other way. Okay, it's on drill mode. I don't know where I'm going to put you guys. I'll move you over here a little bit. Right there. Okay, got you guys moved over here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Not that it's uber entertaining. So I got to try to drill this guy out. Problem is, like I said, I don't think this bit is going to drill into this bolt at all. I have to try to get a real drill bit. I don't think this will work as a pilot. I've got this drill bit, but I don't know if it's any good, if it's really good for doing this. I want you guys to be able to see, but I have to see. Problem is it's not too bad. Making a shiny spot. Ain't really drilling it. You guys know where I get a good set of drill bits? Put it in the comments there. Let's see. Because you're kind of using the hole itself as a pilot hole. So you don't really need a center punch. I mean, you can get away with not a very good center punch. Like I said, I ain't got any good drill bits. This is very frustrating. If it's the drill bit or if that bolt is just very hard. Well, I know I can drill this at least, so that's a good thing. Like I said, I might just drill it out here and just put a little stumpy bolt in there. Let's see if I can drill into that. Because the biggest thing with this one is it goes all the way through, but it doesn't need to go all the way through. It just needs to get, you know, a good 1/4 inch in there so it stays there and this little guy can't slide around. Now I got to find the punch. Tools everywhere. There it is. It's over there. I got to find the hammer. Right here's the hammer. If I had a hammer. Super exciting here, huh? Well, that was good. It worked, but it jumped out of my hand. Caught it with my sweatshirt. There we go. Let's tap this back a little bit. Make a dent. You got to be kidding me. You guys have this problem? It's just me. My dad's going, just sharpen the bit. I haven't done it. I don't remember how. Gonna have to buy a drill bit sharpener. Try this bit here, see if this will cut. Trying. Yeah, it's working its way in there, so that's good. It's actually doing it. Let me put a little bit of oil on it if I can do it without, like I said, getting it on the brake pad. All right, we're back. You're not going to believe this, but I guess I can aim this camera a little bit better. I sharpen the drill bit. Like I said, I haven't done that in 20 years, and that was back in probably more than 20 years, probably 30 years since I was back in high school. Yeah, I sharpened it and it cut the hole. I can't believe it. I've been like fighting drill bits for years because I'm too big a knucklehead to just sharpen it. Anyhow, so I drilled it all the way through, and I'm just going to use this little stainless steel 1/4 bolt. I mean, the bolt they have it's this big guy, and I get, you know, I just don't think that's necessary because you're just keeping this thing from sliding. There's no massive force on it. This is just an old truck, so I'm not sure if my hole is big enough yet. So I might have to drill a little bigger hole. That bit's, I got to find the right drill bit. Bear with me while I figure that out. But yeah, I cut the hole. I don't know why I'm so amazed, but I am. All right, I Googled it because that's the easiest way. It says for a 1/4 bolt, I need a 13/16 or a number 7. So let's see if this guy will cut. Now, I've already cut the main hole. This should cut. So I cut like the pilot hole. This should be able to cut. If not, I will just sharpen the bit, right? All right, let's see if we can dig through here. Looks like it's going. Almost through. Oh, looks like a little bit more. I was like, I'm not drilling into my caliper, am I? No, I'm not. Oh, there we go. And we're through. Okay. Now I've got, where did I do the tap? Can't find it. It's here somewhere. I know it is. There it is. Over there. Why did I put it over there? All right, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do this or not. With just this little T-handle guy. Let's just put just a teeny bit of oil in there. It's not technically cutting oil, but I think it'll probably work just like cutting oil. And this is not a bottoming. I drilled all the way through. So you just kind of apply some pressure and start cutting. All right, she's cutting. Now you want to, as you go through, you're going to be making shards or whatever. You got to back it off a little bit and break those. Because if you just keep going through, it'll bind up. If you back off, I don't know if I call them shards or what you want to call them. Now, this is just what I'm doing. I'm not going to suggest to anybody else that you drill and tap a new locking hole for your brake caliper. I don't see the harm in it. To me, it looks like it was kind of designed for 2, and they just did 1. Probably because they were over-engineering it at the time. Well, I'm always yelling. It's a little difficult because this handle's a little small, but so if you have a bigger handle, you got a little more leverage. Man, Mr. Moore would be proud of me. I had metal shop in high school, which they need to have. They need to have again. They need to have shop. I don't know if they still have shop in high school anymore. Metal shop. So when it gets tight, just back it off. Break off those little barbs. I'll put a little more oil in there. Just got to be careful. You don't want to break the tap. It's pretty brittle. They're really, really hard, but they're brittle. Right? I have a lot of flex to them because I got to cut. Not to mention, I break the tap, then I'm back where I started. So I'm not sure why it's getting tight, but let me see. I'm going to see how many threads that is. That might be more than enough threads. I don't need to go all the way through. This little bolt's not very big. Find it. There it is, right in front of me. Look at that. I gotta get a wrench to tighten her down, but it should work. I'll run that tap through there again to just clean it up, make sure I got all the, probably should blow it out because you'll have little chunks of metal in there, right? I just don't like how tight it's getting. I'm not sure why it would be getting tighter. Maybe the metal farther in, the way it's heat treated, it's a little harder or something. But yeah. All right. So I'm just going to put a little blue Loctite on this. I realized they had red. Yeah, that goes in pretty nice. This little wrench might actually have, yeah, my little, I forgot I had my little tubing wrenches over here. Yeah. Look at that. Boom. And there we have it. One locking bolt for my caliper slide. New caliper on. New brake shoes on both sides. I haven't bled it obviously, but I still got to do the other side, so there's no point in no real point in bleeding it right now. I'll do the other side, and then when I'm done with all that, then I will pick you guys back up. Hopefully this video will be. I need to get one out, get some more information out to you guys. For all you 4 or 5 people that are chomping at the bit to see how she's going, which, hey man, if I got 4 or 5 people that want to watch, then that makes me happy. All right, we will see you guys when I've got the other side done. I think the other side's gonna be something similar. The bolt's broken, so what I might do, I might try to see if I can get a hold of it and get it out, but if I can't, I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to do exactly what I did over here. I'm going to drill and tap. Like I said, that's how I fixed it. I'm not going to recommend, you guys do what you want. It's your truck. I don't see the issue with it. I worried a little bit about, maybe the structural strength right here. I might crack it, but I kept my hole kind of small. There's no real, I'm not going to torque this thing down to 1,000 foot-pounds. It ain't going anywhere. It ain't going anywhere. You don't want it to stick out too far because you'll hit the wheel. As it is, these wheels are pretty tight on these calipers. But anyhow, all right. We'll see you guys when I'm done with the other side. All right, I think we're going to end the video there. That's a long enough video. I hope it wasn't too long. I hope you get some value out of the video. That was the first time I've ever done brakes on a 1973. I've done several other different type of disc brakes, but that's the first one of that generation. And I believe that generation, I don't know when it starts, but I think it's got to be close to 73, 72, 71, up to probably 80, maybe 81. My dad is a 79 Ford van, and the brakes are the same. So I hope this will help somebody that's stuck or maybe just wants to see it first before they tackle it. If you've done brakes before, you should be able to work your way through it. It's fairly simple. The little thing that slides in and out is the only thing that's a little different than normal. I appreciate everybody who watched. If you're seeing this part of the video, I appreciate it so much. You staying with me through the whole thing to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. I really appreciate each and every one of you that do. I'm still learning at this. I'm still new at this. I enjoy doing it mostly. It's a little stressful, but I do enjoy doing it, and I'd like to do more. I'd like to keep doing more with your help.
Until the next video, everybody keep wrenching and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.